Welcome back to the Parish Noticeboard, everybody. The date today is November the 27th. Welcome. Now this week we've got quite a bit to talk about as opposed to... Yes, we have actually. Okay. We have. I did tell you this yesterday.
I've had a sleep since then.
Well, true, I suppose. Anyway, let's see what there is on offer this week. Okay, this week's Guess Where I Am is a canal. And here's the canal. Plenty of boats moored up here. Loads that way and loads this way as well. There's a very nice bridge over the canal over there, as you can see. So where do you think this is? There's a little garden next to it, which is where we're going to perch ourselves in a few moments to record the rest of this episode. I'll give you a little bit of a clue. This is in Derbyshire, but it's not one of the places I was planning to record whilst we were down here. So it's in Derbyshire and it's not one of the ones you know about. So where do you think this is? Answers if you know down below. And that brings us to last week's answer. And well worked out. Are you okay? Hiccups. I'm tempted to re-record this now.
Just carry on.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
Last week's answer.
Do you reckon I should have re-recorded this bit?
No, get on with it.
Make your mind up.
Tell the good people last week's answer.
Okay. Well worked out, people. Last week I was on a railway viaduct, and even though a few of you were a bit confused as to where that viaduct was, a lot of you sort of went back to the previous Parish Noticeboard and worked out which one it was from the places I was going to. Well done if you said Hewenden Viaduct, which is on the border between Cullingworth and Wilsden in Bradford. So yeah, this one's a little bit harder. You've got to know your canals for this one. So yeah, that's where I was last week. And you'll have noticed as well last week I also forgot damage control again. Well, you know, it happens, but there was nothing to say anyway. Just like this week, there's nothing to say this week either.
I think in future you should only put in damage control if there is something to say.
Pretty much, yeah. I reckon so.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Save me filming this part, because otherwise, yeah. Otherwise I do look like a proper village idiot, don't I? Not
You
that.
said that.
Well, you know what, I say it all the time. It's in my channel name. What do you expect? Okay, this next bit, Nikki is frantically searching through her phone to find the name of this guy. I got a message a couple of weeks ago from a guy who lives in Australia, and I think he's going to be the channel's super fan, because he's made his own little personal list of every single video he's watched so far, and like a little counter with each one to know how far he is through each series, which is weird to say the least.
It's not, it's quite cool.
It's well weird. I don't know. He seems to be a super fan, and he's really into watching my stuff. Poor sod. So
So this is Dave.
Dave, not Adrian.
No,
not Adrian.
I don't know where he got Adrian from. Dave Scott. So Dave sent us a message saying that he, basically, paraphrasing, that he's all fab and all the rest of it, and he's an Aussie living in Sydney and he wants to get to England one day. Well, Dave, if you do get over here, give us a shout and maybe we can fit in a filming session with us.
Yes, anywhere you like, basically, because I could be anywhere in the country at the time. But yeah, if you want to come across here and meet me, and maybe film a village or two with me, then you're quite welcome.
Yeah.
Now, earlier this week, I put out a Tales from the Village Green. I was in Uttoxeter in the town centre, and it was all to do with JD Wetherspoons. We've seen plenty of Wetherspoons pubs in our time, and the video was all about the history of the Wetherspoons pubs, because every single Wetherspoons pub has a history behind it, and Wetherspoons are very good at that because they preserve that by putting all that history on their website, and that's basically what the video talked about. The reason I'm mentioning this Tales from is because you may have noticed, if you've watched it, the voiceover sounds a little bit different to normal. Now, the reason for that is because in her infinite wisdom, Nikki bought me a little microphone, which I thought, oh, I'll test that out and see if it works for voiceover, but that's not why it was bought. So I tested it with the Tales from episode and one of the Bradford episodes from last week. It's not great, to be honest with you,
it doesn't
for
have
voiceover.
the depth of sound.
No,
it's not got that rich sound quality.
No,
it's not a bad quality.
No,
but it's not the rich sound quality that we're used to on the voiceovers.
No, and for that reason, going forward, I won't be using the microphone for that. The reason it was bought is for the parish meetings, first Monday of every month.
Does you sound like you're in a bucket?
Yeah. A few people commented on the last one saying that the sound quality wasn't great in them, because obviously I'm using my laptop sound and it's not the best thing ever to record sound. So in the meetings from now on, I'll have that little microphone attached to my person somewhere.
Look like you're on Look North.
Yeah. And so hopefully the sound quality in the parish meetings will be better, but you won't, apart from the Bradford episode, which you haven't seen yet, you won't hear me.
It won't be used on the
No, it won't be used. No, I'll
just carry on doing the sounds. There's a railway passing by the back of us, so that's
another clue. There's a railway close by.
Yeah, so I think the microphone is for the use in parish meetings. It was nice to try it out.
Yep.
But the quality of the sound that we get from your current recording method is more than sufficient.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's been a bit of a learning curve, isn't it?
I reckon so. Yeah. So that's that. Let's move on to the next thing. So, as you know from last week's notice board, I've begun working on 2023's videos, and you will notice a couple of changes in the way that they're presented next year. The reason for this is all down to me trying to reduce the amount of time I spend writing scripts. Now, this may shock you, but writing in general is not something that comes to me naturally. I'm not very good at it. I haven't really got away with words. A lot of the time, the things I'm saying in the voiceover and whatnot, that's come from somewhere else, and I've just adapted it to make it sound right. So I've tried my best to find a new method of presenting stuff, which means I don't have to write massive, great big long scripts. I'm writing less, a bit more concise and a bit more to the point. No less informative, but certainly, I can't be spending 2 or 3 hours writing a script for one video at a time going forward. It's absolutely eating up so much time, and it's time I could be spent filming, doing another village.
Plenty of other things.
Yeah, and doing plenty of other things too, absolutely. So there are a couple of little changes which are being made to 2023's videos as a result of that. Effectively, what you're going to be seeing is a video that's presented in sections which look and feel like mini Tales from the Village Green, in like minute bursts, which I think is probably a better way of presenting stuff, because otherwise I might be all over the place trying to do this because normally with a great big long script I can do that, I can waffle on for ages and ages and ages, which I don't like doing.
Which you're doing now.
Yeah, precisely. You see what I mean? I haven't got away with words. So doing it in these little minute bursts, I think, is a good way of doing it to reduce what I'm writing.
Basically, what you're saying is that the way you present the channel is going to be slightly different.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not going to be any less informative than what it is now.
There'll still be a structure to them. It'll still be a walk round. I'm not going to be going from one end of the village to the other and then back to the other end again to do the next thing. That's not what I mean. It will still be in chunks. It will still be in an actual circular walk if it's a circular village, but it will make sense still. That's the important thing.
Makes sense when people start watching them.
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah. So
watch out for that.
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's going to start in 23, but up to the end of 22, everything will remain
In the same form.
as what you're used to. So yeah, that's coming next year.
Cool.
And all that's left now is the coming week. Now next week, on Tuesday, I'll be going to Newark and Sherwood for the first time in what feels like ages. I'll be heading to Fernwood and Balderton, so that's a big one, and a not so big one, but still big enough. So I'll be doing those two. And then on Friday, we've got a wedding to attend.
I have a wedding.
Well, you have a wedding to attend. I'm not invited to said wedding. But this
you're going to put your time to good use.
But this is not a problem. The wedding will take place in Alfreton in Derbyshire. So, you know, I've sort of thought to myself, what can I do around Alfreton? I'll tell you what I can do. I can start Amber Valley, and I shall be going to South Wingfield, and please forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Pentridge, which is virtually next door.
And I'll be going to the bar.
You'll be going to the bar. Don't get drunk. You're not allowed to get drunk.
I didn't get drunk at the hen, do much to the kids' annoyance, but you know.
Fair enough, yeah.
You might do at the wedding.
Well, you might do, I suppose, but I'm not transporting a drunken lout back up the M1 afterwards, just so you know.
Excuse me. Are you calling me drunken?
I'll only call you that if you come back, you know, properly intoxicated.
I won't be 3 sheets to the wind, Andy. Come on, you know me.
I know.
A lout now, that's a different matter, but drunken, haven't been drunk in years.
You know,
carry on.
You know what that means? That means it's time, doesn't it? That means it's time.
Challenge accepted.
Possibly, yeah.
Come on, let's carry on because I'm cold.
Right, okay. That's been the Parish Noticeboard this week, folks. This is what's coming up on the channel next week. I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.